Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, Round 18, where we all take a sketch designed especially for the hop and use it as inspiration. And today's sketch was created by Sarah Fletcher Thorne, and it is a two-page layout, but I am only going to use the right side. I am scrapping these two photos of my daughter-in-law and great-granddaughter. And I have a bundle, and it's the 49 and Market Kaleidescope, and I will be using that, but I think that pink, no, not the pink paper, the light pink paper is from maybe Alina, maybe. And then I think I use a scrap, well, I know I use a scrap, but it is from Christmas Spectacular. And when I cut this out, see how, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but there's streaks and lines through here, and I wanted to make sure I got them all in the correct order, so that's why I'm moving them around. Of course, my thought later was that you wouldn't be able to tell it by the end of the layout with all the stuff on top of it, but yeah, that was my thought when I was sitting there moving them all around trying to get them right. And my photos are cut at 4x4, I think it is, and because it looks kind of big on the sketch. The grid part's about all I'm going to use. I'm going to remember those tabs up there at the left, and so I will put, well, I think those are banners, and I'm going to put a tab. That's it. I forgot about the flowers, and I didn't put my title at the bottom. I did put that border there. It came off of this paper with the flowers. Well, they're not flowers, they're butterflies. I thought they were flowers, and then I happened to really look at it, and they're butterflies. And watching the video and watching myself, I thought, why didn't I cut that? What was I thinking? And yeah, I pulled up on it just now to test. I don't know, it's going to come up so easy, so I will go back and gut it. And however, I'm not going to do the other thing I wished I could do. In hindsight, looking at myself create the sketch, I thought I should have put that big frame down on the bottom left and put this cluster up at the upper right. But they're going to stay where they're at because it's got rub-ons and liquid glue and everything else. But I will gut that paper for sure. This little leafy branch, it was, I believe, on the packaging for the laser cuts. And I fussy cut it out, and I'm going to use part of it on this bottom one and just a little bit up there on the top cluster. I wanted to use one of those film strips, and I was really tickled there was one this small in there. And oh, and that's from Blossom. But yeah, I am using one of them. Oh, and boy, I just talk like I was using this whole collection here. I did use some stuff from Rogue. That title there is from, I think it's called Rogue, isn't it? It's all the red one. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I thought about having just that My Heart as the title because my daughter-in-law is always saying that Hermes is her heart. And so I thought about just using it, but then I thought, man, I'd like to have X and O. Well, I considered it with this black foam one that had it, I was looking at different ones. I was thinking about making one. I was to the point almost, and just making the X and O. And then I thought to look in the Rogue, and it I think it works pretty good. It does. I used a red rub-on up there. However, I do have a branch that's green, and I had vetoed it right off the bat. I cut it off the paper. There it is. And decided I wasn't going to use it, so I just laid it over to the side. However, I was trying to figure out what to do with this cluster. It's just so big with that frame on there. And I decided to add it after all. And I don't want to waste that other little part. And I thought, well, with that little hummingbird in the bottom circle, it'll look cute having some greenery coming out from there. So it will get used right there. But this is another bundle that I got from Only One Life's Creations when they had their 50% off sale. And the first one was Rust and Revs 2.0, which was brand new, it just came out. And then I seen this one. I've been wanting that for a while. For $21 for a bundle? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get it. And it's just as pretty as I thought it was going to be. Such light, bright, bright, vivid colors. Now, I mentioned it before that my daughter-in-law's day, one of her days off is on Monday, and my son's is on Friday, and they will have her those days so she don't have to go to daycare or anything. And she will post pictures of her on her days with her, and then he'll post pictures of him with her on his days. And this is one of the days that she posted. And they'd be perfect if it weren't for the fact that the phone has a shadow and my hand's covering it up. But you can tell it's a phone, it's rectangular. It's not as bad on the bottom photo as it is the top one, but I still like them, and I know she'll love this in her album at Christmas. So I am definitely glad I used them. Even though that shadow is there, she might notice it if she's looking at it on the layout. And think about it when she's taking the photo. I'll do stuff like that and I'll think, what in the world is that? And try to remind myself not to do it. My son's a lot better than he used to be at taking photos. I told him, pretend the sun is the flash on your camera, put it to your back. Because he took pictures one time of Jason and he was sending them to me. He took like 20 and it was so dark. And I said, go off the porch and put the sun at your back. And so he did, and it was a better photo. But it wasn't from what he was doing then. He was on a bike or something. And the next time he took a picture, he asked if he'd done better. And he did. Here's that scrap from Christmas Spectacular. And I'm just adding it down there because I remember those banners. Well, I think tabs or something at the moment. But yeah, it looked kind of plain when I put it on there, though, so I thought it needs a little bit of mixed media look, so I am adding a bit on there. I thought I was getting it too big, and I laid it on there, and it was a little bit too small, and so I will, in the photos, you'll see that I added a couple little more blotches. And here my camera's going to go off any second now. I didn't notice it until I had all these on there. And so, yeah, y'all missed the end of that. But that's my completed layout, and I'm sorry I didn't notice that. But, yeah, I had a lot of fun making it. And even if I only did the right side, that's what inspired me. And, well, the grid inspired me. And, yeah, that's my completed layout. And it will be gutted, as soon as I hang up. If I don't do it right then, sometimes it'll set a little bit. But there's my little cluster at the bottom that I think should be at the top. But, yeah, there's the one at the top with the big frame. I like that big frame. The bundle come with a chipboard, whole sheet of chipboard, so that was good. But don't forget to check the playlist down there below out and see what everybody else did with the sketch that Sarah created. And I want to thank you all so very, very much for joining me today while I created mine. Have a happy, scrappy day. Bye.